Okay, so I'm gonna cover a video now about Texas. Another thing that happened in Texas, um, and so let's go through that story tonight and let's see what it's all about. So this is the article here, and let me just open it so I can see it myself. So Texas Tech limits on gender identity discussion deepens fears for political reaching academic freedom. Okay, so what's this article about? Let's cover this article. What is it about? So the article, it says the Texas Tech University system has issued a directive telling faculties at its 5 universities to limit discussion of transgender and non-binary identities in classrooms. So they've been told not to discuss about transgender people and non-binary people in their university, in their, I presume, in their classes and stuff like that, in their courses. Okay, the order cites a Trump era executive order, uh, Governor Greg Abbott's anti-woke stance, and a recent Texas law that narrowly defines gender. So, in the last video I did on the Texas, about the Texas bathroom ban, bathroom ban on trans people, wasn't it? I said about how Texas is already trying to erase trans people in that state in America. And now it's the same thing that's happening in the universities as well. They're trying to stop lecturers and the facilities to be able to talk about transgender and non-binary people. However, the legal experts and free speech groups argue that none of these actual ban classroom instructions, and that the memo, it misinterprets the law. Okay, so these laws have been put in place, and now they're saying, okay, you need to do that in the universities. But but free speech groups and the lawyers and stuff like that are saying no, it doesn't work like that. It's not covered. It doesn't cover what they talk about in schools and in the universities. So faculties and students are alarmed. Professors worry about academic freedoms, possibly sanctions and job security. Yeah. And students fear for their mental health and the university's reputation as a welcoming institution. Yeah, well, this is the thing. I mean, if you're transgender, for example, or even if you're an ally of transgender people, you're not going to want to go study in Texas, because you're going to feel like, well, if I go to Texas, um, we can't discuss anything about transgender or non-binary people if that's something you want to speak about. And you also, if you are trans or something, why would you want to go there? I mean, you're not going to be accepted or anything like that. So it's like, it's a problem for the universities, but it also means that the lecturers there, why would they want to teach there? You know, they might as well try to go to another state or another university where they can actually discuss free speech. They can use their free speech and talk about subjects they want to talk about. You know, basically, this is making so you can't talk about. I mean, I'm saying, like, you can't talk about trans people, but it's a bigger picture, isn't it? If you can restrict on some talking points, what else can you restrict on? It's not just transgender things. You know, people say like, oh yeah, well, I don't believe in transgender people. I don't think transgender people are who they say they are. But it's like, well, yeah, but if they can do this with trans people and they can do it about non-binary, what else could they restrict? What other laws could they put in place and then restrict because you don't want universities being restricted on what they can talk about. You know, you want them to be able to free to discuss things, because that's what universities and educational places are there for. This follows similar controversy at Texas A&M, where professor was fired after conservatives were objecting to discussion of gender identity discussion. Yeah, I mean, like I've said before, look, let me make this clear. What I've said before is I really believe in education in schools. And I've said before that I believe that education with LGBTQ plus people is really important. I think, let me just put on big screen when I'm talking to you here. Um, I really think it's important that you're free to talk about this, because If you don't teach about certain subjects or discuss certain subjects, then you leave that space either where with people not knowing about it or talking about it. And then what happens is people build their own ideas. And if people are going on sites like X and getting their information from X, and they're going, oh yeah, transgender people are bad, and transgender people are, and they get this fear because they don't get educated. And then you've got this thing where, I mean, I was on X the other day, and I wrote a comment to somebody, and they were telling me, they were saying, oh no, most trans people, they detransition. And I said, no, that's not true. I said it's a very small amount of people detransition. But you see, they got their evidence from X, and then they're telling a trans person like, oh yeah, trans people did this, this, and this. It's like, you're not a trans person. Why are you telling me this? But the thing is, if you don't educate, it builds this kind of nonsense of where they don't really understand trans people. And and I think universities should be free to teach and discuss things. It's in them. Let me have a look at this now. We have, okay, why it matters. Academic freedom is, so you need academic freedom because professors should be free to teach facts, including gender identity, without political interference. Exactly. So that's what I was saying before. Censorship like this erases trans lives. Refusing to acknowledge gender diversity in education makes trans and non-binary students invisible and unwelcome. Yeah, okay. Like we said, like I just said, and like, why, if someone said to me, hey, do you want to go to Texas to go study something, I'd be like, I would say no, I don't want to do that, because why would I go there if I'm just going to be ignored, my identity is ignored. So it continues a pattern in Texas politics, restricting bathrooms, healthcare, sports, and now education. It's not just a policy, it's part of a strategy to push trans people out of public life. Yeah, I think we can all agree on this. I mean, it is happening, isn't it? We've got the bathroom ban, we've got healthcare. I mean, I haven't really looked at Texas, but I presume Texas healthcare, I presume they don't allow certain things with trans health. They probably block, like puberty blockers are probably banned, I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know. I can't say this for fact because I don't know. I'm guessing maybe they try to ban hormones as well, but don't take my word for that because I haven't looked it up. But I'm presuming what I'm learning about Texas is probably that style. So you've already got lecturers and educators leaving Texas. This could create a brain drain in higher education. Okay. So Texas is actually losing people, educators, and staff from these universities because of this. So what else? Why is this important? This is part of a broader national strategy by conservative politicians. Start with bathrooms and sports, move into healthcare bans, now extend into speech and education, literally trying to control what can be said in the classroom. Exactly. It shows that trans rights are not just about individual freedoms, but about who controls knowledge and what students are allowed to learn. And this is my worry. I see this in America. I know this is Texas, but this is what I worry about the UK. I worry that this could spread, especially with parties like Reform. Could they try to control what's educated in the schools, universities, and could that then spread to, like, our actual speech and stuff like that, to be able to speak about who we are and stuff? Even if you're not in Texas, these policies often spread to other states. Yeah. So we've got the problem in America, it's spreading, and we've got the problem in the UK coming here to the UK. In many countries, universities are protected spaces for free speech. The idea of banning entire topics would be seen as authoritarian, which it is. So in the US has a long criticized other country. So the US has long criticized other countries for restricting academic freedom, but policies like this make America look hypocritical on the global stage. And they do, and I'm in the UK, and I'm telling you, I see that, and I feel that way. But in the UK, there is debate over gender speech, but professors are not outright banned from teaching about gender identity. So yeah, in the UK, you can still talk about gender subjects, but there is talk about trying to restrict that. I know Reform. I've already said the Reform Party in the UK. I've already said that they want to get rid of pronouns for trans people. I actually have something on pronouns, a video on pronouns as well, that I might show you as well a bit later on. In much of Europe and parts of Latin America, universities are moving towards greater inclusion of LGBTQ plus studies, not less. Texas Tech puts it at odds with global trends. Right. So I think even though this is a really sad thing to see, I mean, look, I do know about Texas. I do know Texas is a more Republican state, and I have heard things about Texas, right, from the UK. We do know what Texas is like anyway. But here's the thing: the world isn't going this way. America, some states in America are going this way. The UK, unfortunately, seems to be going in this pattern, but a lot of others are going the opposite way. So we're the ones that are going backwards, not the rest of the world. And this in Texas now, we've seen with the bathroom ban law being put in place, and now them trying to restrict subjects that can be taught in universities and things like this, and this being able to discuss trans people and non-binary people. What we're seeing is it's just the process. They're trying to erase trans people from these places. But the thing is, either trans people will move, but if they don't move the state and they stay there, there's still going to be trans. Well, there's always going to be trans people in Texas. So I don't know. Hopefully, eventually this could change, but I just don't know when and how. But anyway, I wanted to bring that to your attention, and so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think about this.